welcome to Community Connections with Children's Services Council, just in the nick of time. Welcome to the 1-hour commercial-free radio show that's all about connecting you, the listener, to what resources are available to children and families in St. Lucie County. I am your host, Sean Boyle, and with me is...
Ashley Mock.
And I already said what the show was. I kind of went out of order. Did you notice that?
That's all right. We were, busy talking about things.
Yeah, and we kind of forgot that we had to go live on the air.
That's all right.
When I say we, I mean me. But real quick, if you're a long-time listener, thank you for tuning in. If you're a first-time listener, let me give you a quick rundown on what the Children's Services Council is and does. We are the Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. We provide local resources for local families, St. Lucie County families, and we have 5 focus areas. Our first focus is to make sure that every baby is a healthy baby. And that's a big focus, right? Healthy baby ends up growing to be a strong adolescent, to be a healthy teenager, and a productive citizen. Second focus is to stop child abuse before it happens. Third focus is to keep kids off the street, keep them in school, and keep them off drugs and alcohol. And we do this through a network of programs that we provide funding to. And altogether, it's 53 programs. Last year, they positively impacted over 34,000 children in St. Lucie County. Again, local resources for local children, and they're programs that you've heard about, but maybe you never really realized where they get their money from. It's the Avenue D Boys and Girls Choir. It's Future Generations. It's the Boys and Girls Club. It's the Castle. It's Hibiscus. It's 53 altogether, which you don't want me to go through all 53. But how can people learn about all these programs, Ashley?
Well, there are lots of ways that they can learn about those programs, and the best way is through our Family Guide to Programs. We have recently taken steps to kind of consolidate the Family Guide, make it a little bit more user-friendly. We are actually in the process of getting the Family Guide also printed in Spanish and hopefully soon in Creole, as soon as we can find someone to translate it for us. So if you're good at that, call me, because we need help. But the Family Guide is just a brief overview of each one of those programs. And it also provides contact information, and for the site-based locations, the address. So, if you are looking for an after-school program, or if you are a pregnant lady who's about to have a baby, we have lots of programs that are there to serve you and your family. Oh, what are you doing? But the Family Guide is a great resource. We've distributed about 30,000 of the old version, about almost 5,000 of the new version.
And we're about out, right?
We're almost out, so we're getting ready to order some more. But, in the last couple weeks, we've gotten lots of phone calls from local businesses or church groups or schools even that are interested in just having those family guides at their location to display. And we can certainly bring them to you to drop them off. You can either send us a message through our website, which is cscslc.org, or you can call us at 408-1100.
You thought I was going to write that on
I
the
did.
website,
I thought you were writing notes to me. I don't know what you're doing.
I'm getting ready to. Keep going now.
We are also very active on Facebook, and we share a lot of information there every day about our funded programs, about events that might be taking place in the community, sometimes just tips for parents, things that may be happening that we think are relevant. So if you are not a fan of ours on Facebook, please find our page. And like the Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County, we share a lot of information there daily, and we want to make sure that you're up to date on all of it.
It's funny, you talk about Facebook. A couple things. One, we were approached by, was it Port St. Lucie High School? Mm-hmm. They want our directories, and we're presenting, I believe it's next week. I know it's next week because it falls on my wedding anniversary. We'll be presenting to parents at Fort Pierce Central. Mm-hmm. But you talked about Facebook. We were asked to go to a lunch barbecue at Pine Creek Apartments, right across from Original Tabernacle of Prayer, New Destiny Church. And when I was there, we did the presentation. There were a couple of new mothers, and they had the nurse home visitation, so that was nice. And it was nice because it was multi-generational. There were young kids, young moms, grandparents, great-grandparents there. But anyway, we did a picture at the end. The lady that organized the event asked us to do a picture. So I'm sitting back in a chair next to one of the young mothers, and she's got her phone out, and she's passing the phone across me to her friend because they're showing something on Facebook. So I said, "Oh, you're on Facebook?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." And I said, "Well, once you guys get done showing each other pictures," I said, "you need to do me a favor." So I made her pull up Children's Services Council St. Lucie County. I made her like our page.
So we got new fans.
We did. One new fan. We're going door to door to get Facebook fans for Children's Services Council.
Sounds like a big undertaking.
But it was great though, and and I'm sorry, I forget her name, the woman that invited us out to Pine
Kimberly.
Creek. Kimberly. And she actually used to work here at the station. It was a great opportunity to speak. And, we had talked about going door to door through the community. And I kind of felt like we didn't go door to door because we were at the clubhouse, but it was a great way to touch base and, connect people with what resources were available.
And certainly, just like Kimberly called us, we would encourage anybody who has a group that maybe we could come out and speak to give us a call as well, whether it is a group at your church or in your neighborhood, or maybe a group of parents or friends that you have. We can certainly come out, and Sean always jokes, we can do 5 minutes, we can do an hour, we can do whatever you have time for.
If you're a long-time listener, we can talk. If you're a first-time listener, get comfortable.
But we have a lot of information to share, so we can certainly come out and do a presentation to any group that you have. Just have to call us and get us on the schedule.
Now, you're doing speaking of presentations, you're doing a couple next week as well, right? Or at least one that I'm aware of.
I am. There's a couple things
Junior
going on
League,
next
right?
week. Yeah, we actually got invited to speak to the Junior League of Martin County, which may sound a little weird, but there's not a Junior League in St. Lucie County, so they have a lot of St. Lucie County women who participate in that group. So we're actually going to make a presentation to them about what Children's Services Council does for the community and the benefits that it provides. There's a couple other events actually going on next week. The Boys and Girls Club is hosting their Youth of the Year competition, which we got to participate in last year as well.
Sorry you didn't win. It was close.
Yeah, I know. It's a bummer. There's one more event, too, that I wanted to mention next week that's going on actually as a benefit for Family Meals, which is an organization that we've talked about before on the show. We've had them as guests before on the show. They are doing an event next Thursday evening at 5:30 p.m. It'll be downtown at Sentiment, which is the little gift shop right downtown. They're doing an event called Wine About Cupcakes. You get
Wine
that?
About Cupcakes.
Wine About Cupcakes. So obviously 2 things that will be there are wine and cupcakes.
You don't complain that you're eating
No,
cupcakes?
not-
I'm ruining my New Year's resolution. Give me another cupcake.
Not W-H-I-N-E, just W-I-N-E. The cake lady is actually making cupcakes and several desserts. That'll be there. They're doing a raffle. They're doing art that will be there that has been donated by Susie Cassins and Diane Cumberland. So lots of cool things that are happening there downtown. Again, it's at Sentiment, Thursday, February 13th at 5:30.
It's the day before Valentine's Day.
I know. Maybe you could get a gift if you need one.
To wine?
That was a hint.
Wine, yeah. Thanks. Very subtle, very subtle. I do want to mention we got the opportunity this past Saturday. There was it was a fundraiser. A lot of a gospel artist performed whose name escapes me. Future Generations, a lot of the local choirs performed, and the event was called Keep a Song in Your Heart, and it was a community event and fundraiser raising money for Treasure Coast Hospice and Future Generations. Future Generations is one of the after-school programs that we provide funding to. Operated by, I called him a superhero because I got
He
is a superhero. He's a school teacher by day, and then he becomes a superhero at night. He works with about 50 kids, and he teaches kids. They have to do their homework, of course. They've got a whole crew that makes sure the homework gets done. But once they get done with that, they learn how to play a musical instrument. And most kids that go through the program will learn how to play 3 musical instruments, and they're phenomenal.
They are.
They performed, and some of the proceeds benefited Future Generations. And so we got a chance to speak to the crowd. Which was kind of fun, but speaking in front of a crowd, right now there's 5 of us in this room and a camera that we just ignore, so it's okay. But there's 300 people there, and I had to follow Larry Lee, Representative Larry Lee.
That's tough.
And he's a good speaker, right? So, but it was a great opportunity to connect with all the attendees, and I reminded them of the 5 priorities and the importance of utilizing the after-school programs, and of course said nothing but nice things about Joseph Richardson and the Future Generations. And let me tell you, they performed 2 songs, Joseph Richardson, and they had a house band. The church had a house band, and that's who I can't remember her name. And if Joe's listening, Jumpin' Joe emceed and told some pretty funny jokes that I'm not really sure he could get away with in a church, but he did get away with. But the kids basically went over to where the house band was at, Future Generation Kids, and took their instruments.
Oh, wow.
And you could see the house band. They're like, what's going on? These kids aren't going to make it good. They were phenomenal. And Joseph Richardson was, orchestrating it, and, they got a standing ovation. It was just great to see. And I know Joseph said that they didn't have as much time as he would like to prepare, but they were, I mean, I think everybody walked away going, wow.
They
that was
really
impressive.
are talented.
And they're little kids. They're not like teenage. I mean, some of them are teenagers, but they're like, I think like a 9-year-old was playing the bass guitar, and like a 12-year-old was playing the guitar. It was phenomenal.
They're very talented. It's a great organization, one that we've had a partnership with for a long time.
So again, Ashley talked about the programs that we have in the directory, and for you viewers, yes, that was what I was holding in front of her face. It's a long-standing joke. But again, connect your kids, whether your kids, your grandkids, your coworkers' kids, your neighbors, to what resources are available in the community. We have phenomenal programs that are available in this community, and Future Generations has openings. Avenue D Boys Choir has openings. The Boys and Girls Club have openings. Many of them have openings, and they're just waiting for a phone call from you. And if you want more direction, you can just call our office at 408-1100. Let us know what you need, where you're located, and we will connect you with the resource. Or you can just keep listening to this program each week. We encourage that as well.
Or you can visit our website and find all the information there as well. And actually, we've gotten a lot of communication recently through Facebook as well. So if that's the easiest way for you to get to us, certainly send us a message on Facebook. We can answer any questions you have there also.
Now, we've got a list of things that we have the intern, Wendy, putting all this together, and she's probably going to be mad at me because I didn't follow this at all. She's like, he said stuff. I asked him what he wanted to include, and I said I'm good, and I just added a bunch of stuff. But we have a guest that's patiently waiting.
We do.
And he
patiently or impatiently, I'm not sure.
Patiently.
He's patiently waiting.
Point, right now, it's only been 10 minutes.
Okay, so he wants us to keep talking until now. But let me pause real quick for station ID. And I did bring a T-shirt in. I had a T-shirt in my car. I promise you it's new. It's clean. It's not my T-shirt. It's a Children's Services Council T-shirt. But real quick for station ID, I want to remind everybody you're listening to Community Connections with Children's Services Council on 1400 AM WIRA The Light, or you're watching us, and Wendy, the intern, got all these stations down, so I'm not going to, and she put it in a large font that I could read. WLX, the St. Lucie County Education Channel, Comcast, Channel 13 in Fort Pierce, Channel 19 in Port St. Lucie, Hometown Cable, Channel 19, ATT U-verse, Channel 99, and Livestream Cable at St. James, Channel 65. Boom, I'm out of here. I got them. I got them all.
That was good. I'm impressed.
And we want to thank you for tuning in. And let's give out the number to the station, because I have a T-shirt we can give away. But we always say, just as the Children's Services Council is the community's Children's Services Council, all these resources are available to everybody in the community. Same holds true for this radio show. If at any one point you want to join in, ask for a free T-shirt, ask Ashley why she didn't win Youth of the Year, question for the guests, whatever you want to do, just give us a call at 772-464-1400. Again, 464-1400. Help make our little show's New Year resolution come true, which is that we're going to get at least one call per show.
One call per show.
It's been close. But we've done pretty well.
We've done pretty good.
And I will tell you, if you call in 464-1400, not only will you get a T-shirt, you also get to talk to Ashley, because my headphones aren't working.
I don't know that that's a bonus for anybody, but...
Do you want to introduce Fred?
Sure. Fred, I feel like Fred is a long time...
Fred's a regular.
He's a regular on the radio show. We've had him as a guest before, and I feel like every time Fred comes on, he's got something new and exciting to talk about. So I'm anxious to see what that is today. But Fred DeFrucio is with us today from Graceway Village. I'm going to let him explain what Graceway is and does, because I could never do it justice.
Well, and in fairness, we've had Fred on the show so many times because they do so much. So we can't get it all in one show. So
there's no way that we could talk about it all.
Maybe Fred can broadly talk about Graceway and then tell us what you want to talk about today. Yeah.
Be happy to do it. I'm glad to be here again. No pressure on the what's new and exciting thing. So I'm sure we'll share something that's new and exciting as we try to do that. I am executive director of Graceway Village, and a number of years ago, a church had to give up a local property, and the church that was leaving just wanted the community to embrace that facility and wanted it to be used for a good purpose in the community. And a number of us went into development of what were we going to do here. We had this property, we have this facility. What kind of things can we do here to help the community? So we did some research about tapping into the needs at that time of the community in our area. We're in Fort Pierce on Hartman Road, just alongside of the school board offices there, in between Okeechobee Boulevard, Okeechobee Road, and Orange Avenue. And we have 8 acres there that we have two buildings that we can conduct our facilities. And through the research that we did, we wanted to tap into some of the needs that we felt either weren't being met or things that we could kind of help. We didn't want to duplicate things. We didn't want to do things that everybody else was doing. We thought we would tap into some of those needs, and we developed 3 programs that we felt really could enhance the community as a whole and, you know, meet the needs of those people that are there.
So 3 programs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to?
Sure. We have 3 programs. One is Hope's Closet for Children, and that is a clothing closet that we've set up in a boutique-style setting where children that are in need will come and be able to shop for clothing. And we have, the way that works is we have over 30 agencies plus all of the schools that will refer families to us. And the children will get to shop in a really nice boutique-style setting. It's a comfortable, nice environment. It's set up like a little shop, and children and their families are able to come every 6 months and shop for clothing, for outfits, underwear, jackets, pajamas, things like that.
And that's huge because, you know, we have a lot of families, particularly families that have children in school. There's a dress code, and so you can't show up to school in a T-shirt and shorts. I mean, you have to have a collared shirt. Depending on the school, dictates the color of the shirt. You have to have jeans or khakis, and you have to have shorts. They have to be a certain length. So you kind of, I mean, you get clothes of all types of clothes, but you really kind of focus a lot on the school clothes so that kids can go to school and stay, you know, while they're in school, because they can come back every 6 months because kids grow, right?
Absolutely.
Like weeds.
Absolutely.
So, and we've been there before, and it truly is. It's like almost going
It
to
looks like
a retail store.
Yeah.
We want it to be nice. We want it to be inviting. Anything that we do across the board, we want people to feel like they're welcome. And that's how we set that up. Linda Chastain, our director of Hope's Closet, and her volunteers, many volunteers, they've done a fantastic job of setting that up and then helping the clients. And going back to the school uniforms really plays a big part in how we started, you know, Hope's Closet, is that we knew that that was a challenge. A lot of children, you know, couldn't go to school or couldn't conform to the dress codes that they had in the school. So we've really been intentional to try to keep a fair number of school uniforms available, and we get really busy in the summer around school time.
Can imagine.
Yeah, in the month of August, we served over 500 children just in that one month,
wow.
and we're only open one day a week on Wednesdays,
Wow.
from 10 to 5 on Wednesdays, and it was just it's a blessing to us to be able to help, but to see that there's that much need, and we get a fair amount of families that come in and are in a crisis mode or emergency situation where, you know, I had somebody come in last week, a caseworker that was representing a family, and the kids, she knew that if the kids didn't get clothing, they weren't going to school next week. So I ended up helped her on a Friday, and we do what we can just to help the families.
Now, you mentioned that you work with a lot of partner agencies or with the schools. How does that process work? If the school identifies that maybe there's a family that's in need, does the family get a voucher? Do they just get sent to you guys? How does that work?
Yeah, we work on a voucher system. We don't determine the need. We couldn't do that because it would be inundated with folks. So we let our referring agencies do the assessments, whatever that you know entails, and the schools do the same thing. And we have all of our referring agencies and all the schools have vouchers. And then they'll provide the family with that voucher, and then the family will come bring the voucher, and then they'll be able to shop.
Nice.
So I know you're open one day a week, 10 to 5. This is just Hope's Closet. I mean, this is
Yep.
one of 3. We're getting to all of them. I'm trying to time manage
Yeah.
to make sure we hit them all.
Yeah.
But, you know, we always say not a passive show, an active show. So if anybody has clothes, you know, maybe their kids are grown and they've just been sitting there, or, you know, like my kids, you know, particularly my son, he grows out of stuff all the time. If somebody's got clothes, what kind of clothes are you looking for, and how can they get them to Hope's Closet?
We serve children from birth to age 17, and that's very important because when we say Hope's Closet for children, people think that, okay, children, that it's younger children, but we serve a lot of teenagers. And teenagers are my size, bigger, your size, you know. And so it's been a challenge for us to accumulate, you know, those types of sizes, but we take clothing gently used, and you can see this on our shelves. All of the clothing that is put out is sorted through and put out on our racks in very, very good shape. So all of the clothing is very good shape. The underwear and socks that we provide are all brand new. We don't provide or accept any donations of underwear or socks. To answer the question, the things that we look for, gently used clothing that would be appropriate from birth to 17. And we say, and Linda says this to people that ask as well, if you would put your child in this or grandchild, that's what we're looking for. And we're fortunate to get so many donations, but it takes a lot to go through and pull out actually the stuff that's good, and especially at the amount of items that we're providing. We've provided 115,000 clothing items in 4 years.
Wow.
And
just huge.
Where can people drop off clothes if they do have them?
Well, we have a donation bin, courtesy of Children's Services Council, right outside of our at our facility on Harmon.
Right. Just kidding.
That's a little bit of a
plug, yeah.
Plug there. But no, as Sean and I talked about this years ago, we were getting donations just left out in the rain.
Yeah. And you had a Tupperware container.
We had a
out
Tupperware
there.
container overflowing, so we talked about it, and Children's Services Council so graciously provided a nice donation bin at our facility on Hartman Road. There is another bin, same type of bin, on the northwest corner of Indian River Presbyterian Church, which is on
It's a good location.
25th and Virginia.
Yeah.
So it's facing the north side, so you can see it from Virginia Avenue. So we have a bin there. Old Navy has a bin in tradition.
Nice.
They collect clothing
I've
donations.
actually seen people drop stuff in that bin.
Yeah.
Could I just go there and take clothes off the racks and put it in the...
Absolutely.
Sure.
No, well, people do that. That's one of a good partnership with Old Navy is that people will buy clothing from Old Navy and put it in there as a donation as well.
That's
So
great.
yeah, that's great.
We have a box, don't we? In
We
our
do.
lobby
We do.
downstairs.
And some of the schools do as well. So we're trying, and we make arrangements with folks. If it's something large, we can, make arrangements to pick up. But we can't do it without, partnerships in the community that will allow us to collect the clothing like that.
So,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Sorry. Another thing that you mentioned though was volunteers. So we always say that if this is not a passive show, it's an active show. So if there's anyone who's listening who may have some time to donate, whether it's sorting clothes or helping families shop on Wednesdays when you guys are open, are you looking for volunteers now? And how can they get in touch with you if they're interested?
We're always looking for volunteers. I mean, those of us that are service providers, that we thrive on our volunteers. And we have a nice large base of volunteers, but it takes a lot. And how we conduct our day will be in shifts. And we'll have a handful of volunteers each shift, 2.5, 3-hour shifts throughout the day. And that could be sorting clothes, which we do in a separate building from the clothing closet, or it could be taking families around and helping them shop.
And you wash all the clothes that come in too, right? Because I remember last time I was there, and I realize it's been a while, but you had like a whole bank of washing machines and dryers, right?
Well, we have a laundry facility there that, if necessary, we'll do that. It's gotten to the point now where we take in so many clothes that it would be a challenge. It would be a challenge to wash everything, but. A lot of the folks that donate, if it needs it, we absolutely do, and a lot of the folks will bring stuff in that's already that's recently washed.
Yeah.
So, and that's the stuff that goes out on our shelves. So, and a lot of our volunteers, and we've been doing this for 4 years, take laundry home.
Right.
Wash it and bring it back.
bring it back.
Sunday wash.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and we couldn't do it without the huge base of volunteers, and we always need more volunteers because during the summer it gets a little tough to accumulate volunteers. People are leaving town or what have you. So,
and what's your phone number if anyone is interested?
Well, there's a couple of ways. Hope's Closet at gracewayvillage.org would be our email to volunteer, or through our website, gracewayvillage.org. Certainly can also call us at 772-925-3074. Extension 2 would be Hope's Closet. I know that's a lot of information, but we want to make sure that we're there, we're available. We want to be available to people that would like to contact us.
And I will say, too, that you guys have a Facebook page that we actually linked to this morning. So if anybody who's listening is already a fan of ours on Facebook, you can connect right to the Graceway page from our page this morning.
Yeah. We talked about New Year's resolutions. I know we're in February, but I'm still talking about it. Come on, how many people have abandoned their New Year's resolutions? But I told you, my family, one of them was, I'm asking each one of my family members, my wife and my 2 children, I don't know why I said it that way, one thing a day that they no longer want or need to get rid of, to donate. My daughter is like, she comes out and says, like, here's 30 items. Like, the second day we did it, right, and then what I was getting to was a lot of what they're getting rid of is clothes that they don't want, and particularly for teenagers. I mean, let's face it, that's like what you got them for Christmas. We don't want it anymore. I'm joking, really, Leedy, I'm joking. But people, if you have the opportunity to, kind of downsize, if you will, or get rid of what you don't want, a lot of it ends up being clothes and what you think I'm just going to drop it off at Goodwill, or I hate to say it, or throw it away or something. Don't. Give it to Hope's Closet, because we have over 100,000 items of clothing in the last 4 years. There's a big need in our community for families for clothes, particularly school clothes. I know my wife's a teacher. She bless her heart, she carries with her every day. I do laundry. I'm the laundry guy. I don't know why I'm saying all this. I'm the laundry guy on Sunday.
Nice.
On Sunday, I do the laundry all day. When we get back, I'm doing laundry all day, literally. And I'm washing all these shirts. I'm like, whose shirts are these? Because I'm like, they're not my son's size. And she keeps clothes because kids will get sent out of the class if they're not in dress code appropriate. So we need this resource, and we need everybody to be part of it.
Yeah. The biggest challenge is boys' clothing specifically. For whatever reason, boys go through their clothing.
Tear up their clothes faster.
Absolutely. It's been a challenge for 4 years. We see it consistently. Boys' clothing is definitely a challenge. The school uniforms, definitely a challenge. We'll see that around the summertime. Kids will coming in for their school uniforms for the coming year. We'll also provide clothing on an emergency basis. Recent rains that we've had a month or so ago, we got a lot of emails from organizations asking if we could help some of the victims that were displaced.
That's good.
From their homes and apartments, and we were able to help some of those families. So we help on a longer-term basis with that voucher. They can come back and continue to come back, or on an emergency basis.
I mean, I know a lot of schools are doing like jeans drives. 'Cause I don't know if you've noticed. If I was growing up, when I was a kid, I'm giving way too much personal information out on this show. But if I was a student, I'd wear shorts every day because it's hot out today. But my kids wear jeans, 7 days a week. I don't know what it is with teenagers and jeans.
In school, though.
No, I don't know what it is. But is jeans a big thing that is needed?
Yes, absolutely. We provide jeans, and we've had some local schools in IRSC. They did a jeans drive back some time ago. LPA, and we also we have schools that do shoe drives for us. We do provide shoes as we have them, and those are limited because we don't get them as often. In the quantities.
So we talked about being active, not passive, right? What if our listeners went back to their congregation, to their church, place of worship, and said, let's do a jean drive, or let's do a shoe drive, or a collared shirt drive for Graceway? That would be great. And
It'd be
imagine
awesome.
if they all did it,
All the stuff you would get.
You know, and going back to our director, Linda Chastain, she had a wonderful idea this year to come up with, and a couple of volunteers kind of put their heads together about a campaign, 12 Months for Caring, where, you know, groups, churches, organizations would pick a month, and I'll conduct a drive, whatever drive, in January. And we're all doing it in February, and we're trying to fill in the gaps there to, you know, throughout the year to have a consistent inflow of clothing. So
That's great. Now, I'm doing a poor job managing time already.
Because we've only talked about one program.
One program. Let me pause real quick for station ID, and then we'll pivot to the second thing that's done at Graceway Village. I want to remind everybody you're listening to Community Connections with Children's Services Council on 1400 AM WIRA The Light, or you're watching us on WLX, the St. Lucie County Education Channel, Comcast Channel 13, Channel 19 in Port St. Lucie, Hometown Cable Channel 19, ATTU Verse Channel 99, and Livestream Cable at St. James Channel 65. And
Impressive.
we'll be happy to have sponsors from all those entities because we nailed it this time. And I would thank Wendy for giving us all that information. So we're talking to Graceway Village, located off Hartman Road, right by where the school board office is, kind of parallel, if you will, right up Hartman Road. And they do Hope's Closet, which is clothing for children 0 to 18. 17, thank you. They give out vouchers through programs and through the schools. Are you just going to correct me? Is that what's going on?
I'm just making sure you get it right. That's
we want everybody to get involved with that. A simple donation of your clothes. Go to Graceway Village. They have a drop box there. They have other locations. You can go to their website, which is gracewayvillage.org.
yes.
Or you can call them at 925-3074, extension 2. But that's just one thing that they do, and we have an hour show. So 25 more minutes left. We're going to try to get into two other things that
I've
they do.
got to get these. I don't know if it's me or you.
It's us.
No, I think it's
I was
me.
telling everybody about how I do laundry on Sunday. I'm pretty sure it was me.
Well, I
Listen, you two.
for the record, I don't. In case my wife's listening, she does all the laundry. But every time I come on, it seems like I don't
We run
get
out of
to the
time,
end, and I think that's me, so I apologize. But we do so much, and we're very fortunate to have a tremendous impact, and that's really what it's about, just helping people. And we do that in a number of different ways. So I'll just go on to another program that we developed. We saw that there were huge food insecurities in our area, still exist and existed back even when we were developing these programs. And we wanted to see how could we get involved in that. Not necessarily, we know that there are other feeding programs, but we wanted to see how we could kind of fit in with our facility, which we have a nice big facility and a kitchen for that purpose. So we decided to develop a soup kitchen to where we provide a free meal on Sunday evenings. And where we fit in was Sunday evening, there were no hot meals available in our community on Sunday evenings. So we decided we're going to take Sunday evening and we're going to offer this meal from 5 to 6 on Sunday evenings at our facility. And that has really, really grown tremendously. You know, a number of years ago when we first started, we were lucky to get 30, 40 people in there. We have not been under 100, 125 people in months.
Wow.
We've been as high as 150 plus meals or people served there at our facility on a Sunday evening. So we know that the need is there. We're happy to do it, and fitting in with our goals of making everybody feel welcome. It's a nice environment where people come, they can relax with their families or individually. However, there are no questions asked. Everybody's welcome. So we have people from all over coming to our meal. We serve the meals. We take their plates up and clean up after them. We
Very much like a restaurant.
Gwen Hagenbaumer is our director of Matthew's Cafe, and she always tells her volunteers, we want people to be served like it's a restaurant. She said, think of you being in a restaurant and being served. That's what we want to offer our guests. And it's just grown tremendously, the numbers of meals that we've been able to provide. So that's
100 to 150 a week.
Right.
Every Sunday night.
And
that's just an hour window.
It is. We have to open a little bit early now because we don't rush people out. we want people to come and enjoy. So it's not just get your food and see you later. We also provide some takeout meals as available for these folks, because we know that the reality is we're just feeding one meal. What goes on the rest of the week, people need food throughout the week, so we'll provide some meals to take home as well.
That's
Wow.
great.
And they sit down, and like you said, it's a restaurant environment, so it's not
It is.
like they line up and
No.
with their tray. They get served.
Yep, absolutely. They get served. And, we're always we talk about doing new and exciting things. We're always talking about what can we do to meet the whole of the individual. That, just feeding people and just clothing people, there's so many needs there. And I know we've developed a lot of partnerships over the last few years. And we've partnered recently with some organizations, Lions Club. We've partnered with Hands and Mustard Seed, Hands Clinic Mustard Seed, to offer some health fairs at our facility. They conduct some diabetes screenings, blood pressure screenings. We've had local pharmacy students come and do prescription medication evaluations. And we do that because we want to provide healthy meals, but we also are concerned with the overall health of the individuals. So that's some things that we're kind of branching out, to meet those needs.
That's outstanding.
Of the folks that
And
are there.
I'm sure too, if you're, you've at some point you start to recognize faces, I'm sure, that are coming to see you every week, and you're identifying with maybe some outside needs that they might have. So I think, it's interesting to me that those things have kind of grown so much. Even since the last time we talked to you, I don't think you were getting 100 people
Yeah.
at Matthew's Cafe the last time we talked to you.
Probably not, and I know we've learned that there are so many needs, and when you know your guests, your clients, that there are so many needs, so we try to provide. If we can't provide this service, who can?
Right.
And I know that we keep your resource guides available, and we give them out all the time, and with 211 we partner with them and try to connect. If we can't provide this help for you, where can we send
That's
you to do
great.
that?
So we talked about Hope's Closet, how people could get involved. They could donate clothes, or they could help volunteer, sort, and all that. Do you have the need for volunteers for Matthew's Cafe as well?
Always need volunteers. We typically maybe a dozen, 15, or it could be more volunteers at an evening, on a Sunday evening. We love to get groups involved, individuals, families, businesses. Last night we had a group from Kohl's department store in Jensen Beach.
Nice.
They had a handful of employees that came by.
And for those that are listening, maybe there's a couple businesses listening. Maybe there's more than a couple businesses listening. Or church. When you say volunteer, are they making food? I mean, do they have to know how to, make whatever? Because I'm thinking, if I volunteer, I can do laundry, but I can't cook.
Well,
So-
that's the thing, and even with Hope's Closet, we fit people in with what they would like to do. We go from prepping the food to cooking the food to washing dishes to serving. Some people want to be on the floor serving, speaking with our folks, and some want to be in the kitchen behind the scenes serving, or plating the food,
Washing
cooking,
dishes.
washing dishes. So
I got washing dishes down.
I promise you, with Hope's Closet, with Matthew's Cafe, there's something for everybody. Anybody that wants to volunteer, we can plug you in.
Because you hear about that all the time, and we've done that as an agency. We've all gone as a group and volunteered at the food bank, or you hear about a business that's donating their Saturday to help with whatever. This is a great, and give credit to Kohl's for doing it. This is a great thing that maybe a lot of businesses hadn't thought about doing, and a great way to give back to the community. I'm
Right.
writing that down. I think we need to promote that.
I think we should go to Hope's Closet.
You want to do Hope's Closet?
Yeah.
You want me to do laundry, don't you?
Well, you're good at it, so I've heard.
Well, it fit, and with Hope's Closet on Wednesdays, that fits some schedules, and on Sundays it fits other schedules. So it works out, and we're always encouraging the local young people to get involved. And I get a lot of questions about that. Can our youth help and get community hours that they're required to do for graduation? Absolutely.
So if somebody was interested in volunteering, obviously you've given several ways that they can contact you. I'm going to give the phone number out, 772-925-3074.
That's correct.
is there any type of screening, or do they just sign up for, hey, come out this Sunday at 4:30, or is there any information you need to get from them?
Yeah, due to the number of volunteers that we have, we like to schedule in advance,
Okay.
if possible. So they could contact, my email is fred@gracewayvillage.org. We have so many different avenues for getting in touch with us, but we were trying to make it easy, but I think we end up making it confusing. But great, just remember
Lots of
Graceway
options.
Village. On our website, there's a link to volunteer.
It's a nice website.
Part of Volunteer St. Lucie through United Way. We try to make the opportunities available because we need the volunteers. So that's.
All right, so we're really listeners, friends. I say friends because I'm getting ready to ask something. We want you to get involved, right? We've talked about this. We talked about this for the last 3 years that we've been on the air, but we really talked about in the New Year's about we had a couple New Year's resolutions. One, more callers. Clearly, that hasn't happened yet. You can give us a call at 464-1400. But we also, our other resolution was we wanted every listener to get involved some way, somehow. And so every time we bring a guest on here, we ask them what they're doing for the community, but we always flip it and say, all right, what can the community do for you? So we've got two avenues. Really, help donate clothes or volunteer to either sort clothes, help with the shopping day, and or help with the Matthews Cafe, which sounds pretty cool. And you said getting youth involved. What a great way. Drag your teenagers out and to volunteer and show them ways that they can give back and the importance of giving back. I think that's, I was actually running through my head, we fund some programs that have teenagers that are looking for community service hours, and I think every high school student has to have community service hours.
Right.
Sunday night.
Great fit.
Right.
Yeah.
We
Every
encourage
kid
it.
can wash dishes.
We encourage it.
They're
Yeah.
probably watching them at home
Yeah.
anyway.
The youth, the teens will come with their families.
Yeah.
It's not only families that are coming to join us for a meal, but families that are coming to serve. And it's a good thing.
Great.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
All right, I'm going to pause real quick for station ID, and then we've got one more thing that we're going to talk about with Grace. So we're going to hit all three today. I'll remind everybody you're listening to Community Connections with Children's Services Council on 1400 AM WIRA The Light, or you're fortunate or unfortunate enough to be watching us on TV, the WLX St. Lucie County Education Channel, filmed by Sharon, who just gave me that look like, yes, I'm filming. Channel 13 in Fort Pierce, Channel 19 in Port St. Lucie, Hometown Cable, Channel 19, ATTU-verse, Channel 99, and the Lightstream Cable at St. James, Channel 65. We are everywhere.
Really, there's no excuse.
And if you're watching us late at night, we've got about 15 minutes left, and then you can go to sleep.
We should also say, too, in addition to all of these cable channels, it is always available at stlucieschools.com.
That's right.
The on-demand.
That's right.
So
So if you're listening to our show
you
at
can
your
always
workplace,
see it.
you're sneaking it in right before you go to lunch, and you're like, I've checked out their Facebook page. Yes, they do post on there every day. I'm a fan. How can I learn more about this radio program?
That's
Go to the
how.
St. Lucie County School Board website, click on Media Services, click on Video on Demand, and look for the Children's Services Council logo. And you can not only can you stream it on your computer, they even have tablet versions.
They do. It's very fancy.
So there's really no reason for any of our listeners not to know what we look like at this point.
That's right. But that's okay.
All right, we're talking to Fred at Graceway Village. He had three things that he wanted to talk about today. We've knocked down two of them, two very
One
important
more.
things. First thing was Hope's Closet. Second thing was Matthews Cafe. The third thing is, drum roll.
Getting ahead in a just getting by world, and don't tune out yet. It's like this guy's still on, but hang with me here. This we understand and understood that there's immediate needs in our community. There's clothing, there's food. Those are immediate needs. You can meet those with regularity. You can provide those, but we also understand as an organization that we want to meet the long-term needs of the individual, and that's really, really key to us. And this Getting Ahead program and the initiative that we're part of is the most ambitious thing that we're really doing as far as community-wide efforts. And without being too complicating, just to explain what Getting Ahead is about. Getting Ahead is a course for individuals that are in poverty. And I know there's been a lot of talk in the community about eliminating poverty in this area, because it leads to other things and some of the troubles that have been going on in certain parts of our cities, that part of the underlying cause of this is around poverty. So what Getting Ahead is a component of the Bridges Out of Poverty framework that takes communities and kind of puts them all together to eliminate poverty in our area. And it's a lofty goal, but we had to start somewhere. So we decided that we were going to launch this Getting Ahead in a Just Getting By World program about 3 years ago or so. And we're right now partnering with Parent Academy. We just started our 4th class yesterday. And what it does is it takes individuals that have been in poverty or are currently in poverty and works them through a 15-session class and helps them assess what are the causes of poverty. Why am I in this situation? What are the barriers that I have in my life from working out of poverty and into stability, sustainability? We've been successful with the program. We're part of Bridges to Prosperity St. Lucie, which is a committee of people from that represent all walks of our community and working together in combating that poverty issue.
And it's 15 weeks.
15 sessions, 2 sessions a week. So it's about an 8-week course.
And does it cost the individual?
It does not.
I think that's important to note. 'Cause I know a lot of times people ask about services and they want to know if there's any cost barrier.
No.
This is absolutely free to anybody that wants to attend.
It absolutely is, and the individuals that are taking part in this are called investigators. They're not students; they're investigators, and we have a facilitator. It's not a teacher, and the facilitators guide the process. And the reason that they're called investigators is because they're charged with the task of investigating the situations and what are, like I said, what are the barriers and how also can they contribute to this whole problem of poverty in our area. So it's really an active environment. It's not just a class where somebody is taking a book and saying this is why you're in poverty. This is what you're going to do.
Read chapter 1.
And right, there is a book and some coursework, but it's more about developing a plan. And throughout the course of that, the individuals will work on a plan for themselves. Because what one person thinks about what it takes to get them out of poverty is different than the next person. So everybody's plan is going to be individualized. And then the goal is, with this whole Bridges framework, to support those individuals afterwards and make it a community-wide effort through businesses and other organizations and the community as a whole.
And you said the classes started last week?
It started yesterday, actually.
Started yesterday. Did you have a full class?
Well, we had 7 individuals. It's recommended that the classes remain small because you want people to be active,
right.
And we don't want the classes to be too big. We want people to be involved. So the smaller classes will be more effective in that environment of working together.
Now, if somebody's listening and maybe they missed yesterday's class, but because of our conversation here, maybe they're interested or maybe they know somebody's interested, can they jump in a class late, or is it you really have to go from beginning to end?
Well, best practices would show that from beginning to end is the way to do that, and I always encourage, after folks hear that we've started a class, get in touch with me and we'll put them on a list for future classes, because we will be offering more classes. And as we develop the partnerships that we have through Parent Academy and the Bridges to Prosperity group, we'll be able to offer this more, because the key to this is helping these individuals after the fact. So as we get those supports in place, more people involved, then that class will be more successful and we can offer them more
Because when they graduate, the 8 weeks or so, don't they kind of get assigned and not going to get the verbiage right. I was going to say almost like a mentor that they can kind of work with.
Yeah, the goal is to pair these folks up that have gone through the class with, we call them allies. And there's all these catch names for the class, but because they're working side by side with folks afterwards, and it's very important because we don't want to just, here's your plan, okay, good luck with that. We want to make sure that we help individuals that graduated from the program work through that plan, and then subsequently those folks will remain involved and contribute to that effort of battling poverty on a larger scale. So it's lofty. It's going to take the community to do this, but our part in this is we wanted to get this program off the ground and show some success through that, and get individuals on their way to sustainability.
And so if somebody's interested, obviously the class is already gone, but they can call you and kind of get on the because as there's more interest, you're going to do more classes.
Absolutely.
And are these classes being held at Graceway, or are they at the Parent Academy?
Both this time, yeah.
Nice.
We're partnering, as I mentioned, with Parent Academy. We do it twice a week, one day on Mondays at Parent Academy, Thursdays at Graceway Village.
Oh, very nice.
Just depends on who had the space available, and it works well. These partnerships, collaborations, I can't say enough about our community and the agencies and organizations that work together for one goal. We've been very happy to partner with Parent Academy on this to offer this class.
That's outstanding. So, and I know you had, when you were on here last time, you talked about a success story of somebody who went through the Getting Ahead and Just Getting By World. Can you relay that story real quick for our listeners?
Sure. A gentleman that I met was actually a guest of ours at Matthews Cafe, and just being there each and every week, you get to know the folks that come by, and you develop the relationships. And I thought we were, at the same time, we were developing this Getting Ahead program and getting ready to offer it, and I suggested it to him that he would be a perfect candidate for this. He would ride his bike and to Matthews Cafe. He had no employment, no transportation, and not a steady place to even live. So I said, you go through this and really participate. And he participated. He was at every single class. He participated. He worked out his plan. And as I mentioned, with the support afterwards, through a business partner that we developed as part of this program, the business took a chance, hired this person, and he's been working over a year there.
Wow.
And now he has, he's employed. He has a place to live, his own apartment, and also a vehicle.
Wow,
Nice.
that's excellent.
So
That is awesome.
it works if it's conducted, best practices through, follow-up and support of the folks. And it takes, as I mentioned, it's through the support of the community. We developed a business partner, which we're trying to enhance that effort through businesses that will say, we want to take a shot at these folks that have graduated from your class.
That's outstanding. And there's so many good things happening in our community. And I mentioned this on Saturday when I had a chance to speak at that concert among the 300. And we talked about it on a radio show. If you only listen to what's in the paper or read what's in the paper or what's on the local news, you wouldn't hear all the great things that are happening in our community. Yes, we have issues and there's things going on, but hopefully some of our listeners, maybe for the first time, are learning about all the things that Graceway Village is doing. It's incredible, and there's opportunities for all of us to get involved, and I think that's really what it's all about.
Definitely.
The gentleman that you spoke of, I'm sure that's just one success story of thousands that Graceway Village has impacted, and hopefully we've kind of turned you on to that resource. To one, you can take advantage of either Hope's Closet, Matthews Cafe, or Getting Ahead and Just Getting By World, or even better yet, you can give back by volunteering or donating to Hope's Closet, Matthews Cafe, or Getting Ahead and Just Getting By World. And it all starts with a simple phone call at 925-3074. Ask for Fred, because he knows everything and does everything over there. Or you can go to gracewayvillage.org to learn more information. We've got about a minute left. I'm proud because I think this is the first time we've had him on that he's been able to get through all his programs.
Thank you so
He's
much.
exhausted,
I'm
but
exhausted.
Such a relief it is.
Well, like you guys, when I speak, sometimes somebody will say you have 3 minutes or you'll have an hour, so I have to fit within
Right,
that.
right.
It's hard to turn back and forth, but I would say, to the point that you made, Sean, about we do kind of use this show to talk about the good things that are happening and to share the great programs like Graceway, like our funded agencies that are doing great things. So I would encourage people, if this is the first time that you've listened, come back and listen again, because this is not the only program that we'll talk about. We have tons and tons of community agencies that are doing great work like Graceway is, and will continue to share their stories via this outlet, if that's all that we have. But we try to do the best job that we can to get that information out there, but we need your help. And if all it takes is you saying to somebody, I heard about this great program today, this is what they do, you never know how that might affect the person that you're talking to or someone that they know. So definitely, make sure that you're sharing this information. We're not just talking about it because we like to talk about it, even though we do. But we want to make sure that these programs are out there and they're being utilized by the people who need these services.
absolutely. We want everybody to get involved.
Yes.
We want to thank you for tuning in, and as Ashley said, tune in next week. Every show we get just a little bit better, incrementally better at doing this. We want to thank you for tuning in and remind everybody, go to the Children's Services Council website, go to our Facebook page, and remember, this is our children, our community, and our future. We'll see you next week.